Video lang. Video lang. Pwede rin yung picture. Pero pangit to pre pag picture. Video mo. Pero pwede. Auto lang ito. Hindi rin mapicture, nakaharang sila. Hindi, mapicture mo kasama siya. Isang mapicture. Okay. Thank you. Before your president, Mr. Bobby Garcia, please go up the event. We'd like to thank you very much for the help extended. Thank you so much. Let me also announce that part of the donation of MBM 1973 will go to the Alumni Association as the seed money for the succeeding homecoming events that we will have in the future. Thank you.
I just want to say welcome again to AIM, and we're all here tonight because we're going to be updated with all that's happening as far as preparations for the alumni homecoming in March 9 is concerned, as well as the homecoming golf tournament on Feb 9, which is just Feb 19, sorry, Feb 19, which is gusto ko na kasi maglaro eh. Yeah, so tonight we'll be hearing more from our homecoming chairman, Jerry Tapan, and I think from other members of the lead host class with regard to this preparations. So thank you very much for taking time to join us tonight, and I think we have quite a good representation tonight from the different celebrating classes. Enjoy your dinner.
Good evening, everyone. Please continue with your dinner. We will have some more food prepared by Alumni Relations Office. This is Jerry Lapan. I am a member of the host class MBM 19. Trying to forget it. Celebrating our 20th anniversary. Thank you for coming, especially to the other celebrating batches who are present today. Glad to see younger batches joining us tonight. And we will try to present to you what we have prepared so far. What we plan to do is to be very exhaustive about our presentation. It will be more detailed than how we did it in the previous meetings. So there will be more details. Segments of this presentation will be, of course, the fundraising activities comprised of the sale of commemorative watches, the contribution of different batches, the sponsors that we've gathered so far and have committed to our cause. And likewise, we will be presenting the golf tournament and the details of the homecoming activities where the celebrating batches will be participating. All of us will have our special moment in that gathering. So, to start with, I'd like to be very upfront with you regarding our financial position right now. No? This has been the more difficult aspect of any preparation, and that is the reason why when several celebrating batches, more of the older ones, up to our batch, we decided to commit 100,000 to 100,000 each for the Alumni Association, represented by our Chairman of the Board, si Dads Domingo, and of course, Otto Guzman. We will be donating that so that there will be greater or bigger seed money for the succeeding celebrants or host batch. So that will be put in place, and I think we will have a total of 500,000 from 1973 up to 1998, except 1993 it's a batch of J. Bernardo hasn't committed yet. So total of 5 batches will be committing 100,000 each. And you've seen the donation earlier of batch 1973 handed over. So that donation is part of that cash donated by batch 1973. We've adopted this theme, reinventing the next 50 years and beyond. No? It was originally reinventing the next 50 years, but the Institute wanted to add and beyond because they wanted, to surpass the 50 years, of course, maintaining the same quality of education. So we've decided to incorporate both. So this is not just the host batch. The Institute also contributed to this theme. There is a change in venue, and I'm sure a lot of you guys know already. So don't be confused that the new venue will be in Manila Polo Club. That will be in McKinley Road, Makati. Everyone knows that. Registration will start at 6 p.m. and the registration fee is 500 per alumni.
Okay na ma'am, sige. Nilitan ko na lang. Okay na ma'am.
For early bird, they want that emphasized. For early bird up to February 30. So 20 only yung 500. After February 28, it will be increased to 700. That's correct. 700. Well, the homecoming committee will be presenting the details of the homecoming event. Okay. One of the, as I mentioned, one of the more difficult aspects of our preparation is really raising the fund. Alumni Association is kind enough to extend 100,000 to us, so we utilize that from the start. But we all know that it's way too low for us to start off anything, so we had to initiate a fundraising activity. So instead of coming up with smaller fundraising activities, we decided to do it one time, big time. So we invested in the alumni commemorative watches for selling. So far, there are 224 watches sold, a reservation of 20 watches. Historically, once reserved, it's just a matter of time. It's considered sold. So we are now looking at 244 watches considered sold. There are 56 units available. The host batch decided to donate to the same cause 6 units of watches for raffle. We're planning to give away 1 watch for the golf tournament and 5 watches for the homecoming. Depending on the amount of additional sponsors that we will be able to solicit later on, we might increase the number. But this is to make it more exciting. So consider that as one of the major prizes. But please don't let us stop you from purchasing your personal watch because it's not guaranteed. There will be 800 to 1,000 attendees during the homecoming, and there are only 6 to 8 units. I think you better get yours. We still have, we should have brought several units. I know Lex this time will be getting one also. So for those who hasn't gotten one, please just go to the Alumni Relations Office. The price is at 20,000 now. So we've paid 2.43 million to Seiko. We still have a balance of 1.62 million. It's in place, but we need to preserve our cash position right now for more important use. The balance will be paid in March 31. That's the deadline based on our contract. These are the available serial numbers currently in stock. So how many is that? 56. So we have about 50 more units. This will be emailed to everyone for reference. MPM 1998 also contributed 1 million for the homecoming. Each one of us has donated 10,000 pesos. So we are currently at 811,000 and we are expecting 20 more donors. So at least we're pushing for that. My personal objective actually. I just didn't announce it because I want everyone to just give their part. We've also donated 8 commemorative watches, or we will be donating 8 commemorative watches. From 6, we're planning to increase it to 8 later on. Update on the sponsorship campaign. We are able to gather 3 gold sponsors. That's 500 each, 500,000 each. 1 silver sponsor, courtesy of our classmate, Maya Agustines. Bronze sponsors, we have 3, and we have 5 par sponsors and 5 hole sponsors. For the golf tournament, I understand that we still have 6 holes left, and we still need to fill them up. We also have a hole-in-one sponsor, which is 120,000 motorbike. That's Renegade Sport 150 by United Motors. We just launched it late 2017. It's a nice bike. And sponsorship of Toyota Philippines is in the works right now. We probably hear from them in a couple of days for another home sponsor. Of course, we'd like to recognize Mr. Ted Villanueva, who's a member of batch 1973, who donated 500,000 pesos. For the other celebrating batches, we're not stopping you from doing the same thing. Okay, the current cash position, at least in the bank, we are utilizing the Alumni Association bank account. We currently have 3.4 million cash, and we have standing receivables from sponsors worth 675,000. We are expecting the disposal of the 50 watches, which will yield us another 1.33 million. The homecoming registration of 300,000, no, this 500 per head, we are only estimating 600 active registrants in terms of ticket purchases. The reason for that being is that we will have, of course, the host batch who have donated so much time and money and a lot of effort will have complimentary pass. We're extending the same to batch 1973. So currently, Anna, we have about 250 honorary guests, correct? Including the Board of Governors and Board of Trustees. Because the meeting will coincide with the celebration, so they will be attending that dinner. We are also expecting a sale of 100 tickets for the golf tournament, which will give us another close to $500,000, a batch contribution of 200,000 more. So that's a total of 6.35. Less expected expenses of 3 million for the homecoming. Donation to the Alumni Association worth 305,000. Seiko balance of 1.62 million and golf tournament expenses of 800,000. So we are expecting a profit already of 630,000. The reason why we're still ramping up our campaign for more sponsorships is because the host batch is planning to come up with a fund that will be extended as a loan to prospective and qualified AIM students. So the tuition fee right now is at around 1.6 million. So we need to raise some more. Plus a little contingency probably on the side. I did not include that anymore. For the PR campaign, which you will be expecting, and for the campaign, we are not expected to reach 100% of our alumni members. There are about 46,000 alumni, both degree and non-degree programs. We also have the current census for the degree programs is about 8,000 to 9,000 alumni. So we are not expected to hit 100%. So the help that we need from the celebrating classes is to disseminate the same information that we will be releasing through Facebook accounts, Viber groups, email blast of the AIM. So I'd like to call on Mr. Vinci Canad to talk more about the PR campaign that we will be doing and the avenues that we will be utilizing.
Magandang gabi mga kapatid! You understand already, si nandito, right? Good evening, batchmates. Thank you for coming. So formal, I can sense such tightness. Excuse me a little bit, okay? Because after all, you know what we're throwing here? It's one huge party. One huge party. So let's make it work. Let's have some fun. Let's not forget that we're gonna have some fun. Okay, so before I maybe proceed with my with our plans, present you our plans, let me just take this chance to honor our lead person here, Jerry. You know, when this alumni discussion started last year, and we started talking about the budget and the pressure of holding it big because it's the 50th. So nakakasindak. It's nakakasindak yung amount. We're talking about 3 million to 5 million. How the hell are we going to raise that? But after I met Jerry last December, leading up to today. We started talking about what's been accomplished, the effort has been done, and I was just floored with the fact that he said, we're already almost home free. Home free, we're almost gonna make it, we're gonna pay for the event. We got rid of Ediza, which is a big thing, praise God. And congratulations, Jerry. Let's give him a hand, come on, let's give him a hand, he deserves it. Congratulations, my friend. Okay, so what are our plans? So first, now that Jerry has done his part and all the sponsors committee have done their part, the pressure is now on us to deliver. Our target, we're gonna fill up the place. 1,000 attendees. 1,000 attendees, that's the record so far by the previous batches because they offered the tickets for free. But we're gonna charge. We're gonna 1,000. But here, we're gonna make them pay. So the question is, are you willing to work with us to make this happen? Can we deliver the 1,000? Can we deliver it? Yes. Yes? Yeah, let's go for it, alright? So, 1,000 people to go to the homecoming, to attend, not only to pay, but to attend. And 144 people to play golf. Alright, so those are the numbers we're looking at to make this event a success. So as promotions committee, forgive me, Kathy's not here because she had to rush home because my youngest has had fever, so I have to report on her behalf because she's the one doing all the hard work. So we have 3 channels to use. We don't have the luxury of funds, but we do have what we call social media, which does not cost much, but you have to make sure you like the page. It's the homecoming page of our event. So for those who have Facebook accounts, and I'm sure most of you have one, please go to that event page because we have the flexibility to post anything you like. And in the spirit of homecoming, syempre the objective here is to make them come and to really relive. And maski pa paano for the next 2 hours, for the 2 hours of that event, be able to relive our most memorable 2 years or 1 year or 6 months here in the school. So submit photos, get your friends, those who are not active, call them up, tell them, hey, go to the Facebook page, see what's happening, and come. So post your old photos just for, for flashback, and then spread the word. The next channel, we also have what we call the AIM page, but there's less flexibility with that, so pretty much what we can just announce is the event. So, but that's our job. That's my job to post events there to make it school acceptable. So, and then the next channel we have is through the generosity of NBC and TV5. We will be able to air an advertised event. First the golf, and then the event itself. So thank you, Ann for 92.3. And Sir Jomai is not here, no? For NBC, NBC, of course, NBC, DZRH. So, aminin nyo na, nakikinig na kayo ng AIM. We are at that stage. 96.3, 101.9, and then I don't know if there's one more station I missed. So, we'll submit, the events will be announced through that. And then the third, through Aldrin naman, we will be granted some minutes to be interviewed in ANC. It depends on how long, but I think minimum we can be able to talk about the event. But if ANC is a little bit more generous, then we could actually we can actually have the chance to talk about the school and its advocacy.
And also CNN through Pinky Web.
And CNN through Pinky Web.
Yeah, CNN.
Wow, so CNN, so that's good. So that's the third one, but we will reserve that leading up to the event itself. Okay? So that's the 3, social media, radio, and TV. Kita mo? Medyo, hindi naman tayo makakahiya, di ba? We will also have our traditional print, but this day and age, it's very limiting. So the key really is for us to be able to work together, please, go on to the social media, use our Facebook pages, and spread the word. Alright? Let's make this happen, guys. Alright, let's do this. 1,000. Okay.
Thank you, Vinci, for that enthusiastic delivery of the PR campaign that we have. We'd like to move on to the golf tournament, but before we do so, I will be calling on later on Mr. Lex Bistan to just go through the rules of the tournament. We have golfers here, and we will be disseminating that later on through our formal and informal channels, just to reach all our alumni golfers. That will be very important because there will be some guidelines to follow during the tournament. But before that, let me just go through the raffle prizes and giveaways, which I'm still confused of right now. Of course, through the efforts of Mr. J. Benson, we have the Medical City donation of 100,000 worth of vouchers, 20,000 denominations. And then, of course, our classmate Maya Agustines had to work on one food group. We have 150,000 worth of cash and 150,000 worth of vouchers from KFC, Tokyo, and Mr. Donald. Estee Lauder has given us 23,000 worth of products to be raffled off. Tanduay, as a giveaway, each player will have a bottle of Tanduay, and likewise in Ebra San Miguel. MBM 98, of course, will have the 6 commemorative watches, 6 to 8. And then tournament raffle budget, we have 100,000, so we will have to purchase additional goods for that, and we will be convening together with the golf tournament committee to decide on this matter. If we get some more sponsorships, cash basis, we'll probably be able to increase that. Meron tayong mga in-kind, and the idea, target is from the start. From the start, we wanted to give back value of giveaways and raffles that's more than the cost of the ticket. That will only make it more worthwhile for the players to join. We also have a tournament giveaway budget of 50,000. Again, the tournament committee will have to convene to decide on this. We have a mandatory mulligan, which will be mentioned by Mr. Lex Bistan later on, of 500 pesos mandatory. That's 2 mulligan per player. AutoHub gave us a hole-in-one sponsorship worth 120,000 na Renegade Sport 150 motorcycle. Manila Peninsula voucher and Shangri-La Hotel. It's in the works, but I included it here already. We are also expecting some more in-kind sponsorships, so expect more to come. We've subdivided that, but this is not final yet for the purpose of my classmates' understanding. No? We'll have to work more on this, on how it will be segregated, what will be raffled off during the homecoming and what will be raffled off during the golf tournament. We'll decide on that. So, let us now go to the golf tournament. Anna? Where's Anna? Anna, can you open lang the ano? We'll go through the tournament rules. The golf tournament is, 40 days from now. We're at the latter part. We've made arrangement with Wakwak Golf and Country Club already. Bones Floro is the general manager, has been extending a lot of help and assistance to us. There will be some constraints though. If Lex will allow me to just mention it briefly. There will only be 100 lockers available for this tournament. and about 40 golf carts only, which will, it's 40 golf carts, right? Times 2 people, so that's only for 80 players. Some players will not, so we will have to make adjustments in the pricing. For those who will not be able to utilize a golf cart, we'll have to do probably a reimbursement of sorts. I hope we don't mind me bothering you. If you just go through it. Please, if you have any questions, especially for the golfers, please let us know. We will address it. By the way, the golf tournament chairman is Mr. Paul Martirez. So Paul, if you can just assist me, please.
Okay, I know my batchmates here, 98, the golfers, but are there also golfers in that table? And, okay, there's one, two, okay. I'm sure you've played in previous... yes, I know. And you're quite familiar with the tournament process, but we just want to make sure we just run through this, and we're going to print this out anyway and distribute this to all the players also. But for the benefit of golfers here, let's just take a few minutes to run by. So the guidelines, that's all generic, you know, guided by the RAGC, as well as local WACWAC rules. Any disputes or infractions will be decided by the tournament committee, composed of Paul, ourselves, Jeric, Lance, Jay, and with the help of Bones Floro, who's the GM of WACWAC. The golf attire, I think by now you're all familiar with that. Okay, the format. I wanted to clarify this one because I think there's been some confusion in previous tournaments, not necessarily in the AAN tournaments. But the System 36, you know, I kind of decided to spell it out now. For those who are golfers and who played System 36, essentially anything that's par, bogey, or double, if you score par, bogey, or double in 18 holes, your net score is 72. Okay. If you score a birdie, if you score one birdie and 17 pars, bogeys, and doubles, that means you're 71, and vice versa. I think that the contention here is yung triple, quadruple, and quintuple bogey. I think some tournament players, or even hosts, anything over triple is still a +1. But in our format, in which Bones Floro also adopts, if you're putting quadruple bogey, let's say that you're putting 7, wait, quadruple is 8, sorry, if you're putting 8 on a par 4, technically, if you make that putt, it's +2, no? It's not, I think that, you know, in golf, you all know, it's all decided by 1 or 2 strokes. So these things can really matter. But let's just move to the next note now. Maximum score is double par, in essence of keeping the game, the pace of the speed. So the high score is really a 6 on a par 3, 8 on a par 4, and 10 on a par 5. So I hope the System 36 format is quite clear now to all the golfers here. For those that have played WACWAC, they call it orange tees. It's really in between the blue and the white, but yesterday in our meeting with Jeric and Bones, the orange tees will be essentially the blue tees, but the forward portion of the blue tees. The blue tees will be the back part, and the orange will be the forward. The ladies will be red, and then give me about 18 inches. I think I wanted to mention to the golfers. Unfortunately, we were told by Bones Floro that. Sorry, is there any clarification or no? Okay. Unfortunately, we were told that there will be 6 greens that are temporary, meaning I think they're renovating. I don't know, Paul, if you heard about this. There are 6 greens that are under repair, so it will be temporary. I don't know if the local rule is automatic 2-putt for that. Okay, what's your
decide?
Sorry?
If you decide you want to 2-putt.
Or if you can 1-putt. Yeah, okay. So I didn't mention that there. Now the mulligans, I wanted to raise your attention also. Everyone knows that you all get 2 mulligans, 1 in the front and 1 in the back. But, you know, we were also talking with Bones. There should really be no issue if you want to use both mulligans on the same line. You know, whether it's both in the front or the back. You know, I mean, someone just decided to make it a front and back thing, but in reality, if you need it back to back, there should be no issues. And it becomes tricky, I'm sure, for those that have played the format. In a shotgun format, when you tee off in, say, hole number 7, and you use your mulligan in hole number 8, and then you move towards, you know, towards number 18. You don't even know, saan ka ba nagamit yung mulligan? Diba? Was it in the front line or the back line? So we decided just use 2 mulligans at any hole you want, whether it's 1 and 2, yeah, 17, 18, whatever. Now I wanted to discuss, well maybe,
Normally you can use all your mulligans either in the front line or
Yes.
the back line.
yes. So, yes, exactly. So we're not going to limit that, except for the putting green and for hole-in-one prizes. I think Jerry will have to discuss later the mulligans, the cash that will be generated from the mulligans. No, I think we had a meeting with Sina Paul. Are we going to bring it? I mean, put it back to the players, or we're going to spend it now? Okay, so the batch competition. I think there's no change here. I think everyone is familiar with this. 3 to count, essentially. If there are Uzi. Okay. If there are 2 players in your batch only, unfortunately that will not count, right, Jerry? Yeah. But if there are at least 3, then those 3 count. If there are 10, then the 3 best will count. Okay, Anna, next. Individual awards. This is, I think, is pretty standard for most tournaments that you all participate in. The ties, sige Anna, let's move a little down. Okay, so I think the ties are quite significant because as players, we probably don't realize this, but it happens a lot, especially in System 36. So we wanted to spell out exactly how it's going to be decided, and this was also recommended by Wakwak, no? So when you play System 36, depending on how many pars, bogeys, or doubles you have, a handicap will be assigned to you. If there's a tie, the one with the lower handicap will prevail. And if so happens you happen to have the same handicap of 15 or 16, then they will look at the gross scores of the last 9 holes, last 6 holes, last 3 holes. On the chance na tie pa rin yun, because sobrang identical ng laro ninyo, count back from the 18th hole onwards back. And kung on the extremely, I think, remote possibility that all your scores on the 18 holes were exactly the same, I'm not sure if we're okay with this, but I don't know if this is how it's been done previously. Toss coin, I don't know if we're really going to even get to that point. Na all the scores are identical, the handicap, but maybe that's something we can further discuss within the committee if we want it to be a toss coin or just a tie between the two players. Okay. Typical special awards: nearest, longest, most accurate. Okay, caddy fee. This one caught me by surprise. The club says minimum is 700. And I don't know if that's the case, but we spoke to Bones yesterday. Basta tournament in Wakwak, their minimum is 700. Now, it's up to you if you want to add another 100 or 200 for your tip, but this is what we're told. And, we're not trying to make any money here. This is really what is being charged to us by the club. I do find it a bit steep. It's usually at least 500. Yeah, at the most 600. Script money, for those that are not familiar with Wakwak, they don't accept cash in the tea houses for breakfast. Mr. CFO, Aldrin, hi. Welcome. And Candy. Okay. So script money, you have to buy script money at the registration. I think, if not mistaken, they sell this in denominations of 100 or 200 pesos. And if you don't spend it all, I was told that you can't convert it back to cash. So you might as well spend the script money in the golf course. And the golf carts, as Derek mentioned, there are only 40 carts available, I think, for that day, which means there will only be 80 people that will have a cart. We're still trying to source if we can find another 20 carts, maybe 20, 25 carts outside. The price is a little prohibitive, so we'll try to manage that, whether we stick to just the 40 or if we can somehow lower the... Who are we going to talk to regarding Jude, care of Ginger? Teddy, but he's out of town, diba? Out of the train. Okay, so I think that's it. Jerry mentioned the lockers. Again, I never noticed these things when as a player, but now that we're organizing it, I never noticed there's only 100 lockers. We're targeting as, the most ideal is 140 or 144 max. Well, because a lot of it now is owned by members already. So the 100 is for the general use, no? So I think we'll try to firm up that number, but that's unfortunately the number. So worst case, the host batch can maybe just share a locker, community or something. It's just to put your stuff anyway, diba? Okay, I think I took too much time already. Thanks, okay. The flight, because we want this we want to keep it a fun tournament, not necessarily a super serious tournament, but of course, needless to say, integrity is always part of the game of golf. So I think, I'm not sure, Jerry, if this has been the case in the past, but we're okay to let, in one flight of 4 people, all from the same batch. I think, people prefer it that way. I mean, it's almost like we don't trust, AIM alumni to put maximum of 2 players from the same batch in one flight and then from another. So whether it's all in 73, 83, 88, 98, all in the same flight, we will, it's a gentleman's game, and I don't think anyone should, find any reason to manipulate the scores.
May drone.
Drone. Pwede. Okay, Derek, is that it? For now, no, I mean, we have a few more things to discuss later after. And then, sorry, for those that are here, do we have the registration form already?
Yes.
We can probably get some of them already right here, diba? Para we start logging the names. Okay? Okay, thanks.
The team champion, the name of the batch or the class will be etched in the, what do you call that? Perpetual trophy. So we're already working on that. As far as we can remember, we can only identify up to year 2011, a batch champion. So it will probably start from 2011 up to 2017. Sino nag-champion noong 2017? Tayo ba yan? Team champion. Medyo competitive kami.
Sino yung players?
Sino yung players? Si Lex, si Lance, si Paul, si Lance, saka ako ba yan? So, tatlo lang kami. 3 to count. So anyway, contender dito, alam ko, is batch 1973. They regularly play. I've seen them play. Even Paulie Nazareno hasn't been playing, plays well. Can land the ball on the green in a 160-yard shot. So,
Three-time batch champion.
Huh?
1973 batch.
3-time batch champion. Of course, they have Fritz Gaston. 8 times. 8 times? Team to beat, batch 1973. Sir, pustahan na daw. Donation, another 1,000. Anyway, tayo daw. Biro lang. Anyway, that's just to spice things up. Part of the promotional campaign is really to encourage competition. That's why we've been bragging online of 1998 last group, defending champion, so that should spur competition, help spur competition. I think we've covered pretty much everything. We will be releasing, again, as Lex has mentioned, we will be releasing all this information online, email blast, and all the avenues that we have. But for now, I think it's important that we move on to the highlight of our meeting, which is the details of the homecoming activity, which will be presented by Mr. Aldrin Serrado.
I'll be presenting the alumni homecoming events in the evening. This is the night for the alumni homecoming. By the way, we engaged I'm Aldrin Serrano from Batch 19. We've engaged the help of the event organizer, Miss Jet Morales, who was actually married to one of our classmates, Mark Morales. So, all in the family, Batch 98. Okay, the last time I saw this was during the Christmas party of Batch 98. We presented this to them as to what will happen in the event. So, coming from the team of AIM, because obviously they're they reinvented themselves. But first of all, if you look at the logo of AIM, it has changed. So we're following the theme also in our alumni homecoming. So the question now is, what is the best way to express reinvention? And that's what we will try to do in the evening. First is we will be positioning the elements of the event or the program towards something that is very current or very now. So you'll see that it's how the Manila Polo will be set up. Excuse me for those who've actually paid for their seats in Ibiza, but they're closing. So it's closed already. It's closed already. So they sent us a note that they're closed. So good thing that we chose Manila Polo Club. So what we're going to do is, I know that Manila Polo is it's a bit old already in terms of an events place, but what we want to do is we want to spice up the place to have a feel of a more current atmosphere. So if you've been to a lot of clubs lately, I've not been there except when we have events in ABS-CBN. So you'll see that it's more of a lounge type looking where everybody can relax. We've avoided round tables because the space is small and round tables would eat up a lot of space. So it's lounge type, rectangular tables. We encourage people to move around and mingle, and so that you don't just stay in one place. Okay, so also considering probably that most of the graduates or a lot of graduates of AIM are already young, and we want to encourage them also to join us in that event. We want to take into account the millennial era or the millennial graduates also of AIM. This is going to be a fusion between us, obviously, the more vintage, and considering us as a more vintage, and together with the millennial graduates of AIM. But obviously, we don't want to show that disparity, but you'll see it in the program that there's actually evolution that's going to happen in the program. So this is our working title, Acclaim. So this is, and then if you look at it, the theme is more black, gold, and shimmery, shining, and so it's going to be at the Manila Polo Club. We've taken the hall, the main lounge, the open, the east wing and the west wing, and the middle bar. Willow Root also. So how will this happen is Willow Root is obviously closed. So if some of you would want to have a more quiet time while in the alumni homecoming, Willow Root is available. But if you want to have a more noisy crowd, obviously that's on the main hall. But if you want to have open space, look at the sky and look at the stars, that's going to be in the west wing. And the east terrace. And the west wing is going to be where the food is. But obviously there's going to be a lot of satellite drink station. I'm confusing myself with the east and the west depending on how I stand in Manila Polo. Okay, so the look, it's a celebration under the stars, coming from the theme of gold and black, but we won't require you to come in gold. If you want to come in gold, you can. So that's the theme, it's gold and black. This is how we intend to set up. So this is the main wing. We decide this is where the lounge chairs are. These are all cocktail tables. These are the rectangular tables. This is the stage. This is where the food will be. So there's an entrance here. So if this is where you enter, go up. There's a photo wall. And then you can lounge. And then again, these are cocktail tables. This is the willow root. This is willow root, this area. So we're not changing that because it's kind of fixed already. And they'll charge us more if we change the setup of willow root. And then this is the outside area where there's also a LED wall, so that everything that's happening here, you'll see it here. This is set up here because this is an open area. You can actually, those standing here can actually view what's happening inside. So that's how the layout will be. In terms of registration, we encourage pre-registration and early payment, obviously, of 500 pesos. We started with 1,000 with Club Ibiza. Since it's Manila Polo, we're down to 500 pesos, obviously. Hopefully more people can come. It's going to be digital registration. We'll use iPads to register you. At the same time, get your contact details to update the directory of the Alumni Association. And there's an air print of all their name tags. So from here, you will see ushers and usherettes. Normally, I think they will be in black, carrying an iPad where you can register. So, but if you come early and you're already seated, you just call them and they can probably register your group while you're already seated. So you don't have to wait here, stay here for the registration. You can go to specific areas. Just make sure that when you're there, you call someone to have you register. But if you haven't paid yet, you have to stay here. Because we need you to pay. But if you pre-registered, you can get your IDs when you're already seated. Okay. Another view. Okay, the sound, because it's actually a mix of the young and the us. So it's going to be decades of music. We'll play around with the decades of music. Huh? 5 years, 50 years of AIM, so it's 5 years. But we're not going to do as far as... Okay. So the feel, so this is exactly how we want it to feel like, be in the moment, just like the millennials would say, AMP. Masama pala yun eh. Nalaman ko na sa anak ko ano ibig sabihin nun. So hindi ko na nasasabihin dito. So, a moment please. But ATM at the moment. Yung AMP. Registration starts at 6. So if you can come as early as before 6, registration is available. And then the announcement of the election also begins at this time, and we will prepare and we will be repeating that every half. We're working with the Alumni Association with this in order to do the election of the officers. Also, now and then you can enter. As soon as you enter, the food is already served, so you don't have to wait for it. Yes, Michelle.
So the people registered, do they have to rent out
They put up for alarm.
Just let them in and what do
They would have to go to a person because they will still have to print their IDs, or sorry, their name tags. So everybody will have a name tag. So even if you're pre-registered, it will be much easier because you don't have to pay, wait for your receipt. You'll just get your name, present your ID, look at our system. If you're pre-registered, we can easily print your name tags. Okay. Okay, and then cocktails will be served immediately. So by 7 o'clock, wala nang pagkain. For entertainment lang. Okay, they can enjoy the dinner. It's going to be, the way the food is not going to be dinner, it's going to be heavy cocktails. So we want people to be able to move around while eating. Okay? Hindi yung tipong, you'll get a plate, big plate, sit down and eat your dinner. So it's going to be like, when you go to a club, it's like that. So it's smaller plates, but you can actually, it's heavy cocktails. And then at 6 p.m., this is the start of the photo op per batch. The reason why we want to do the photo op immediately, we've realized we've attended a lot of alumni homecoming. When it's the time for the batch to go up the stage, not everyone wants to go up the stage. So it takes a lot of time before they actually go up. It's so time consuming. So what we want to do is we want to honor every batch. So what we'll do is we'll do a photo op immediately, and we'll do a same day edit of those photos so that when we call the batch, we'll just show the pictures, and our camera will actually pan and focus on the batch if they're seated together. But obviously we will have someone who will actually make sure that they're seated together, or if they're not seated together, make sure that most of the groups are together so that when we show the batch, it coincides with what's happening in the screen. So we don't have to call everyone, go up the stage, take a picture, go down, so we do the photo op. So that's going to be at the photo wall. And we'll show you at what time it's going to happen so that you'll know more or less the time that you take your photo, your batch photo. At 7:20 p.m., that's when we start the program. That the program will begin at around 7:30. So that everybody will settle, 15 minutes, then freshen up, okay, and then start the program. The program starts with a dance evolution, right? It's a dance evolution. So everyone will be asked to stand for the evening prayer first. This is an evening prayer, and then the evening prayer actually has, there's something going on in the stage. It's actually accompanied by a dance while doing the evening prayer. So it's more of a solemn dance. It's not a hip-hop dance. Okay, so it's not a... it's Shout for Joy, so it's actually more, because the theme is acclaim, so we want it to be a happy dance, I remember. So it's an upbeat dance. And then at 7:35, we'll have freestyle to play. This is the new freestyle. If you're looking for the old freestyle, this is the new freestyle. None of them came from the old freestyle. Pakita ko yung mali, freestyle. Dito yung freestyle na kilala. This is the new freestyle. Freestyle with Aisha Silera. And before they end, the vocalist is Ava. Will share their last song in a very special, because this is where we will dedicate for those who are no longer with us. Our classmates who have passed away. So, biglang solemn ng content. And then, yes, we'll get, hindi na natin lalagyan, we'll just honor them. Kasi pag kinuha pa natin, baka may ma-miss out pa tayo. Basta we just tell them that we in remembrance. O baka may malagay tayo na hindi pa pala. Mas masama yun. Okay. Then, syempre, at 8:25, Jerry will thank the sponsors as agreed in our in contracts that we will have to mention them. And then there's a logo, loop also, that will show the logo of our sponsors. And then 8:30 is actually the grand opening. This is just a peg, okay? Because I realized, ang mahal pala nila. Kahit ako ayaw, bigyan ng discount. So, this is a peg. We'll have 4 singers, not necessarily them, because when we were planning this event, they were still together. So they're no longer the Birit Queens of ASAP. They already disbanded. So hindi na namin sila mapagsasama. Although they're still all of them are still with the ABS-CBN.
Kaya pala
Then we'll have a big surprise for a set of our special guests. They will call on stage the founding members or the representative of the founding members, because we want to honor the founding members, or at least the family or the representative of the founding members. Because when we were planning this, Mr. Sisip was still alive, and we wanted to make sure that we honor the founders of AIM, especially this is the 50th year of AIM. So what we'll do is we'll give invitations to the members, to the family of the founding members. All their names are called, their photos will be flashed on screen, and we'll probably have some video or photo play to come with it. And then the singers will then continue to serenade. And then at 8:35, this is already confirmed, our host is Inky Webb. Hindi ko na matandaan, lumipat na kasi yung CNN. So she'll do opening spills, welcome the crowd, acknowledge VIPs, acknowledge celebrate the match. As they are called, this is when we start coming in, we take pictures. This is when we use the pictures. This is when we do the same day edit. At 8:30, that's when our host will call the batch and the photos will be shown. And then, welcome remarks from our alumni homecoming chairman, Jerry. We'll call in the president of AIM. And then we will stay on the stage for the next, which will have a raffle. If we have prizes, we will raffle. If we don't have prizes, we will just pray. Okay, to be drawn. And then, ano to siya? We'll call the eldest celebrating batch will be recognized. They will be invited on stage and they will sing the favorite song. And then, yes. I don't know what song. Opo. May kasama mo po singers. So we just wanna make sure you sing along with them. Para hindi kasi kung walang singers po kayo, so at least they'll sing along. Kasi Jerry kahit walang banda. Then message from the AA, the chairman of the Alumni Association, in speech. He will stay on stage for the next segment, which is the raffle. And dami naming raffle. Puro payo yan. And then we'll do the grand finale, which is a final culmination. This is stage of Dance Craze. This is actually dances from 2010 to the present. So, hindi na kami masyadong bumalik pa ng masyadong malayo. This is where we will ask the celebrating batches to dance with the dancers. On stage and kumadami. But we haven't finalized the dance yet. Kasi every 6 months nababago yung dances. So when we started this, these are the dance. Much time. Hindi na, in-honor na namin sila ng So yeah. Okay, don't panic. We have a choreographer and dancers. We will coordinate with the batch so that they have more or less an idea how the dancers will be. Yung chairman, lahat yung apat na yan sasayaw niya. Kasi kasama siya ng bawat batch. And then we'll do the closing remarks. Doon na sasabihin ko ano yung closing remarks. And then yung finale natin is actually the usual, diba? You call in the next batch. So nilagyan namin ng konting drama so that it's more memorable. So it's going to be passing of the lights. So from inside, there's a light turnover, like a candle turnover, then it goes to the outside space. Outside, it ends there, and then there will be a fireworks in the end. While Katy Perry songs, fireworks is being played, acoustic yan, di ba? This is not going to be a loud Katy Perry. Acoustic version of Katy Perry. And then, after that, balik tayo sa dancing. It's going to be a dance party. Hindi na to freestyle. We'll have a DJ. Yeah. Actually, it's going to be freestyle pa rin, and then pag nagtuloy pa rin siya, we'll have a DJ. So ang inisip namin is while freestyle is playing inside, there's actually a DJ starting to play also outside. Kasi minsan pwede siyang pag-iwalay. Okay, and that's it. That's how the program will go.
For the celebrating batches, I think you just have to wait for the further announcements because we might be choose the dancers. Mag-aawa yan. Lahat na lang. Whoever's present will be joining them to dance. If there's a batch that should choose the representatives, it will be us because we will be represented by a lot of.
Don't worry. The dances, pag pre-practice yan, 15 minutes you'll be able to dance it already. It's going to be simple steps. And then, the best part is, we'll take a video and we'll send it to you so that you can actually practice at home. That's what we'll do. So, don't worry about it. Ginagawa naman yan. So, 15 minutes lang, masasayaw niya na yan. Promise.
Thank you, Mr. Alvin Sarado. We try to entertain any questions or suggestions that anyone would have. Currently, we cannot afford, but we're trying. Okay. Done. Yes. Yes, sir. Yung sa loob, sa ballroom, yes, it is.
Requirement ni Chantal yun.
Side doors are supposed to be open. Side doors will be open.
See, not all of it, I guess. So there will be some that will be open just to keep the people flowing. Yes.
You need to plan for contingency.
And then I think the bar is located somewhere in between the ballroom and the outside area, the open area. It's indoor also, but in between those areas.
Highly unlikely that it might rain, but
There's a tent, transparent roofing, and umbrella will be distributed. Yes, sir.
coordinate with the code of on the parking.
Yes, we already did. That's normally an issue, especially for 1,000 attendees.
Actually, that's
There's 999 so far, kulang na isa.
Guide them about
Kulang yung parking.
so
Yes.
if they have to be directed, at least there's somebody that's where you can go around in chakra swap, a chakra
Yes,
workshop.
valet.
For ballet, okay.
Yeah, meron
Ballet,
na.
that's what they did.
We'll work on that, sir. Tignan namin kung pwedeng magkaroon ng valet services. Any other suggestions, questions? Attire. Business casual? Wala na. Casual. Casual. Yes. talk to the celebrating batches if you want a uniform order. Smart casual. Final na yun. Smart casual. Yes. Batch shirt, yeah. The different batches will probably talk amongst each other to decide on probably a theme, color, so that we can get identified. Alright? Anything else? Any more questions? Anything I forgot? Yes. Yes, Srini. Yes. Oh, by the way, there will be classmates from different batches, especially the celebrating batches. I understand that 1973 batch will be, you guys will be inviting people over from abroad. And likewise from our batch, I think 12 Indians already confirmed. We will have to organize ourselves into coming up with something for those coming. It's being taken care of already. Let me just announce to everyone that we are partnering with the Manila Peninsula Hotel and also Shangri-La is in the works right now. We have a corporate rate. There are guidelines to be followed for you to be able to access that. There's a specific code, supposedly exclusive only to us, AIM alumni. So if you have people coming in who wants to book in a 5-star hotel, Manila Peninsula, I think it will cost us around 5,000 to 6,000 only per night. 6,800, is it? 6,800. Booked already. So that is open for the whole year of 2018, not only for the alumni homecoming, since we are, AIM is celebrating the 50th year, so we negotiated for a discount for the whole year. So anyone who wants to access it, please do so. Just try to preserve it only for alumni matters during the alumni period, alumni homecoming period. Past that, use it, whatever. We really don't. Yes, that's the corporate. There's a corporate code which we will be. Actually, it's been emailed to most of you guys already. No, we cannot post it in Facebook, is it? We cannot because it's going to be randomly used by everyone.
Send it to me on WhatsApp, I will forward it.
We have forwarded it via email per batch. Mostly celebrating batches only for the meantime. But closer to the event itself, we will be sending it over to other alumni.
I'm told the batch 99, at least the overseas students, a lot of them are coming. Because they will plan for their homecoming. So at least
Alright.
5 to 10 of them are showing up.
That's another thing. I think si Paul will be in touch with your cousin, si Jay Haoshan, and probably the rest of whoever the members of that batch is because we need good representation from them. I'm sure takbuhan yan pagdating sa preparation of homecoming, but I hope a lot of them can come and we will be making that arrangement already. If it will help, we'll tell them that there's a bigger seed money that the older batches are preparing for them. So that should be a good confidence booster for them. So we will make that arrangement. Anything else on golf matters? Sino defending champion ulit? 99. Yes, sir. Oh, yes.
Just forgot to add, for those who have old photos and you don't have a Facebook account, please email and then kindly label the photo at 2018 aimhomecoming@gmail.com. So we'll be the one to consolidate it and then post it as the event will near, then we'll try to build excitement. So don't forget that the photos are really big to generate a lot of excitement.
I owe you that also. Yes. Hinuhukay ko pa sa baul. Yes. Do we have hashtag? I don't even know how that works. We have to create a hashtag, right?
Para they can just parang we can hashtag it, then we can search, then we can download it. Alright.
We have to come up with one name. Coordinated.
Tapos daw ay.
Alright, BG will take care of that.
Hashtag
The idea kasi, we don't want to build up right now. The idea is we want to build up slowly. Right now, the focus is really the golf. And then we'll mention a portion of the event. But of course, we will keep on mentioning that, and then we will build up as we go along. It's gonna get a little bit more exposed come February. And then after the golf, then that's when the radio ads will come out, then hopefully the interview with the ANC. Para pagdating ng March, talagang excited ang mga tao. Alright, in fact, I think there's a batch I think it's gonna fly to Japan after the event.
Anong daan ba?
So they make arrangements already.
Ay, Manila. Hindi, nakapunta. Ano yung subdivision yan si Kenny?
Alright, anything else?
Sa loob.
Please, if you know of any names, okay, we will be publishing the names, at least to my batchmates and probably to other celebrating batches. We will be showing you the names of our active sponsors and those who we have tagged already. So that outside of those names, maybe you can come up, you can think of someone else who can help us out financially or otherwise in kind. Please just provide us the name, the company, the contact person, name of the company, the contact person, email address, and the mailing address. We'll take care of the rest. If we need your help, we'll just let you know to help us follow it up. That's all we do. Again, we have 6 more holes to fill up. That's worth 50,000 each. But if you can come up with a major sponsor, that's 100, 300, and 500 pesos, 1,000 pesos. Please refer them to us. Ginebra and Tanduay will be providing mixed drink during the homecoming. We are the Hennessy Group, the company carrying the Hennessy brand, will be sponsoring also. It's in the works right now. That's a high-end liquor for us. San Miguel Brewery will also be informing us what they will be providing. We're assuming cases of beer. There's a pork, yes you can. There's a 1 peso pork each. That's one of the benefits of 1 peso per liter.
The way the drinks are arranged, we've agreed that the sponsors, we don't have to pay for the corkage. So if you're a sponsor, you can bring in the drinks, the hard drinks, the liquor. You don't have to pay for the corkage. So you don't have to bring 1 bottle because there will be a corkage for that 1 bottle. If it's a sponsored drink, and then we disclose as to who the sponsors are, then there won't be any corkage.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay, yes sir, sir that? Yeah, sir that's fine.
The guests to come in. The guard may say you'll be only allowed to come in at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock. Because parking is an issue here.
Yes. We will be making arrangements for that. We'll plan it further and then we'll be letting you know.
Okay. Because that is heavy traffic from Ayala
Yes.
going to BGC.
I guess 2 new items that we need to think about is the parking management and number 2, the invitations that needs to be sent out to the honorary guests. The BOTs, BOGs. Faculty, there will be former faculty members who we will be inviting, especially those who are, the class is very familiar with. Professor Morato, Gloria Chan. Did I hear it right? Nishi Mukherjee is coming?
It's confirmed just now.
It's confirmed already. Professor Nishi is coming. Yes. Just Gallegos was our dean during that time, and Phil Alfonso was the president of the institute during that time. Sunny Coloma is our professor also. He's with Manila Bulletin. And host class, yes, with Sir Nestor. Yes, sir.
How many parking slots do they have there?
Do we have a count of the parking spaces?
You just give them the expected guests, so
Yes.
what hours are.
We've conveyed that to them already, but we will be finalizing the plans on that one. If it's possible for us financially or given the resources that we have, why not shuttle? I don't know if that's even workable, but we'll
No,
work something out.
I think we should do a campaign just between at least our batches. Carpool.
Yes.
As McKinley Road at that time.
From Ayala Tower, 4,000 lang to McKinley. Just give a designated time. To leave the area.
Anything else? No more? Can we just have the photo op with everyone? There are some new faces here. Chari, first time to attend the meeting. That was a party except for one. This is a meeting. Of course, Lucy, the first time here. Maraming ang utang sa akin. Sponsor ka naman. Bili ka na rin ng watch. Okay, we invite everyone to please come in front for a photo op. Brief lang, let's make it quick. Okay, can I call on batch MBM 1998 first? Meron bang MM and MBM 98? Wala naman, di ba? MBM 98, please. Thank you.
Hindi kami kasama. Kasama si Sir. Sino?
Okay, 1, 2.
Dapat sa baba.
Hindi naman din.
Another one.
Wala pa naman.
Hindi,
We'll be calling on the rest of our attendees. Sir Dan, Ms. Opal, Sir Dan. All of us.
May anak ko single. Di ba single?
Stand up.
Dito, stomach in.
Inggit ka na naman.
Okay, here. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Yes.
Here.
Yes.
Smile naman.
One more. 1, 2, 3. Great.
Viber nyo ha, Viber nyo.
One more. Facebook yan.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Facebook na naman. Okay.
Ang lakas nga.